Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
It is the 20th of May. Yesterday, that sent me off on a digression about time. I shall not do the same today. For one, because my sister's waiting and she'll get impatient. So, Suze, here you are.
Who, me?
Yeah,
I'm not
you.
impatient. How can you say such a thing?
Well, because we all are these days. I was talking.
I know. No, I can't. I mean, if you're supposed to be at my house at 9:30 and you aren't there yet by 9:15, I'm already fretting.
Really?
Eric trained me to the second, so now I'm overtrained.
I find that very many people are not inclined to necessarily be at a point when they've said they'd be at a point. It's not. Yeah, it is. It's often. I guess you could say it's not considerate. It's not.
I had my boss at my first big job was always late to everything.
Yeah.
And no matter how hard I tried to say, I said, what if I just didn't show up when you were waiting for me? Joe, wouldn't you find that disrespectful and want to fire me immediately? And he just looked at me and laughed as if to say, yeah, so they're going to fire me.
Yeah, right.
It was just a power move. It was exactly what it was intended to be, and I found it rude.
Well, it is rude. I mean, it is rude.
It's just, bullying rude,
But I think a lot of people don't think.
Some people just really have a disability in that regard. Clock blind, face blind. I mean, really have a disability. Other people just really are, I don't know, narcissists.
Yeah, it's true. You mentioned face blind. I'm
face blind and name blind because I'm so anxious that I neither see nor hear.
Okay, well then I'm not going to say what I was going to say because you just said exactly what I was going to say.
Oh, really? We must be related.
Yeah, but my face blindness has become something that has gotten more concerning to me. In that I was at an event about 2 weeks ago, and some woman was smiling and waving at me, and I did not know her. I thought, oh my God, who's that? I don't know who that is. And she did it a few times, and then she approached, and she saw this dumbfounded look on my face. And when she told me who she was, I was mortified. I mean, I know her. This was face blindness. I said, well, I don't know why you look different to me. I kept saying you look different. And I know this woman. And then later at the same event, after it, another woman came up to me. I was talking to somebody else, so she stood there. I saw her a few times, and she would smile, and I thought, who is that? Who is that? The whole thing started up again.
Can't anybody use name tags anymore?
No, and I have to say that woman is, again, a friend. I don't see her a lot, but there is no way I should not. That was 2 women I know, truly know, not just met once or twice. And at the same event, I was so rattled by the second one and so embarrassed because she too saw that I didn't know who she was. And so, I mean, that's one of those things where you think, oh my God, they're going to think that I'm, losing it. And I just think what this problem I've always had is intensifying. I mean,
Yeah, it's
I
yeah.
don't know, but it's mortifying. And
It is mortifying. I mean, I've had it for so. I mean, being married to a psychoanalyst really made things even worse because in social situations, most of my adult life, I had to be very careful about who I remembered meeting and whom I did not. You know, because I might be getting a kick under the table that was someone that I should just file away as that did not happen because it was a patient or a patient's someone or other, you know, and it was just being an analytic wife. It included, you know, not meeting or knowing certain people, even if you meet or know them. So that complicated things because I absolutely tried not to pay attention to who people were.
well,
You know, but anyway, no, it's terrible. I have been at events and been introduced to someone probably for the fourth time and say, "How nice to meet you," and they go, "Yeah, we've met before," and I go,
I
"Oh."
know. It happens to me all the time. I mean, my
So I
favorite.
never say that anymore. I go, "So nice
But
to see you."
friends, this is different. This was a different level. This was frightening.
No, yeah,
No, that was
yeah.
frightening. I mean, my favorite story about this is that it was always such a issue with me because you end up offending people. Um, or they think you're a snotty, stuck up,
Yeah,
too good to
yeah, I
say hello.
agree.
And it's not that. You just
Yeah.
literally don't remember. And
Right, and nobody knowing the two of us in our public personas ever would think that we are anxious and shy.
yeah,
And,
well,
you know,
right.
because we don't present that way, but social situations, even though we are outwardly charming and calm, are inside going,
Yeah, well, right. So I think it's coming on strong is often a defense mechanism, right? Because
That's
we
right.
don't have a clue what to do. But my favorite is when it was about a year after I'd come here to Pittsburgh, and obviously I was meeting a million people a day. And because I was on television, they were knowing me, and my face was more out there than any of their faces were, and I was at such a disadvantage, and I wasn't remembering anybody. And so at night I'd go to downtown to this memory class. It was to improve
Oh,
my
I
memory.
remember this.
I know I couldn't remember. I mean, I can't remember where it was. It was in some funny building downtown, and there was a group of us students, and most of the others were salespeople, like guys who, that's
Wanting to
like
remember everybody's name,
yeah,
right?
that like a politician, you got to, and how's your so and
Right.
so and this and that and remember everything. Um and so we were there, and it turned out that the whole way of teaching people like us how to remember names, and this wasn't faces, this was names, was
Mnemonics.
as soon as you hear the name, well, this one was, you place, I don't, it was so absurd to me that you then think of a way that name creates another prompt. And the way that we were being taught was, you're in a room in a house, you put the, and I'm thinking, for God's sake, if I can remember all of that nonsense, why not just remember the damn name? How am I supposed to? So I flunked out. I mean, I just left after maybe 5, 6 sessions. And then maybe, I don't know, months later, I'm going to a movie. It's very crowded. I am, crossing over people's legs trying to get to an inside seat. And some guy smiling at me as I approach, and I'm thinking, oh no. I and he said, "Hi, Lynn." And I said, "Hi." And he said, "You don't remember me, do you?" And I said, "No, I'm sorry, I don't." And he said, "I was in your memory class."
Did you remind him that you flunked out?
God, we both just started laughing. I hope he did better than I did. I didn't remember him at all. I mean, just ridiculous. I was in your memory class. Well, so anyway, whatever it is I have, it's getting worse. And I've noticed it's worse in that when I watch a movie or a TV show, I can't keep characters straight. I mean, they all look the same to me. It's really getting out of control. If I were to bump into my neighbor, any neighbor, name a neighbor, the one on that side, the one on this side who I talk to and stuff, anywhere but outside of the
Yeah,
neighborhood,
out of context, you're
I
lost.
wouldn't have a
Right.
clue. And I realize that, and I think last time I was talking to one of the neighbors, I thought, now study her face so that if you do, because how embarrassing would that be? You know, you bump into him at the
No, it's
grocery
just, well,
store. Oh, it's just
no.
awful. No, it's just awful. What a friggin' affliction. Just saying. So, if any of you guys ever see me and you talk to me and I don't, and I act like I don't, whatever, it's like a,
Just walk up and hold out your hand and say your name, which is what I do now in hopes that people will respond and go, right. I said, I'm just of an age where I never remember. I assume no one remembers either. Hi, I'm Susan.
well, it's good to have turned old because I'm able to say to people, I was never good at, I said, but now I'm old, you use that as an excuse. And I don't pretend to know people that I don't. I always just say, no, I'm sorry. I can't remember. And, they look hurt. It's a.
Yeah. Everybody would prefer to be memorable. They remember you.
Yeah, but I think, well, of course you remember me. I caused a scene or something.
Yeah, well.
Oh, God. Well, so anyway, this is not what I intended to talk about. Gee,
I'm sorry.
Right?
Can I just say one thing before I forget? Because I don't know if everybody knows this is going to happen, and I think it's good that Good Night and Good Luck is going to be broadcast in its penultimate live in its penultimate performance on CNN Saturday night, January 7th.
Not January 7th.
I mean, June 7th.
Thank you. Okay, well, that's good. And Susan's talking about the George Clooney playing Edward R. Murrow on Broadway, and I suspect that will be good. So they're going to
They're going to live stream it on CNN.com. You don't have to have cable. It's just going to be available, I think, because he wants the message of the play to get out there.
Well, good. And that's
and
so that's the first.
Everybody who has been complaining about the ridiculous ticket prices here, it's free to everyone.
Well, that's good. That's a good thing to know. Thank you. So that's
whatever. I just want to make sure that you knew about that.
I had seen it, but I hadn't seen the date. So that's good. Okay. Well, speaking of things to watch, I am still so stunned by this. I find reality shows generally just repulsive. First of all, it's just such a scam. It's they're so edited. They're so unreal.
Hardly reality.
There's nothing to do with reality. It is bullshit. And anybody
and none of those housewives look like any housewife I've ever seen.
Yeah, right, of course. But that's the whole thing. And I mean, and the fact that people fall for it because we have a illiterate population when it comes to consumption of media. They're just illiterate. I'm sorry. It's how you got a star of a reality show as the effing president. That's the problem. They bought the whole fiction. And so this is the reality show presidency, the reality show time. And when I saw that, is it Kristi Noem is thinking of creating.
She's doing a Hunger Games for citizenship.
That's exactly what they are thinking of, being behind a reality television show that where you at home, from the comfort of your home, would be able to watch as immigrants compete for citizenship, for a chance.
And the ones that lose get taken out to sea and thrown overboard.
No, they don't. But I mean, but then they're unprotected. Whatever. The idea. I mean, when I was a kid, a show I remember seeing and found unbearable as a child was Queen for a Day. This is in the 50s. I mean, as rudimentary television as you can imagine. And there would be 2 or 3 women who would be interviewed, and they would all have a sad story. You know, this happened and I need a new refrigerator and my kids are starving. You know, it was like
Queen for a Day.
Yeah. Oh, so I can't remember. I think the audience decided by clapping who got I can't remember. But the fact that people, I couldn't have been more than 7 or 8 or 9. I mean, I found it repellent that these women would be reduced to having to compete against each other to solve, what it almost always was a financial problem.
Right.
And one of them would win, and they'd have a thing put on them, and they were a crown, and they were queen for a day, and they'd get the whatever it is they want, a refrigerator or whatever they needed. And I thought, this is the most repulsive thing. It made me so unhappy I couldn't see straight. And that there are millions of people who would enjoy, it's no doubt about it, watching this Kristi Noem game show. Watching people.
Yeah.
No, they would sit at home.
They would school even.
Well, I got to tell you, if that ain't the Hunger Games, then you tell me what it is. It's the Hunger Games. It's a little like that Korean one that the Squid Games, which I never saw. It is. What has become of us? I mean, as a culture, this exposes such rot. And it also is indicative of why Donald Trump was elected in this rot, because he really is, in many ways, a representation of our culture. Oy. So anyway, the Wall Street Journal, I guess, did an interview with the guy who's pushing this, and he insists, this isn't the Hunger Games, he says. This is not, hey, if you lose, we're shipping you out on a boat.
I just made that up. That's what he said.
That's what he said. And he said,
well, at least I got accurately what anybody would think.
Exactly right. And his, whatever. And he also went on to say that he had, in fact, had this idea years ago, and he had pitched it to someone in the Obama administration. But he said, that didn't go anywhere. Well, of course not.
They were horrified.
God almighty.
It's not funny. Excuse me for laughing. It's so horrifying.
No. It's just so horrifying. And he wants the show to be named The American. And they would have a train that would shepherd. I don't want to. I mean, he's got it all figured out, and the whole idea, he says, is to celebrate what it means to be an American. God.
I'm pretty sure there are better ways to do it than.
Yeah. But I just wanted to share that. Uneffing believable. Hey, did you hear Melania disappeared?
Again? She just came out to sign the revenge porn bill.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not talking about the real one. I'm talking about the life-size bronze statue of Melania that was looking over her hometown in Slovenia.
Oh, right. I forgot about her.
No, she is, somebody made off with her, cut her off at the ankles, and it was so ugly, this statue, you cannot even begin to imagine. And actually, it had originally been done in wood, and somebody torched it. And then it was redone in bronze, and now somebody's hacked it off at the ankles and made off with it, and nobody gives a damn, and they figure that it's just going to be melted down for, money.
Right.
Yeah. So, the New York Times did a piece on it. They went and interviewed some of the people in Svevnica, where she grew up. And he says, well, this one guy, Melania is rarely seen in the spotlight or anywhere. And even when she does do something, it's so bizarre. So I don't want to think about her that much, said Igor Pavkovic, who's lived in Svevnica all his life, and recalled laughing when he first saw the statue. So yeah, there you have it. It's gone. She's disappeared.
Well,
just saying.
Bye.
Oh my God. Okay, now. Oh, I have one thing then, Margaret. I appreciate your apology, but Susan, yesterday, Bree is saying you have an echo. I'm not hearing that.
Well, I'm not hearing it either, but you might. You did go in and out for a second, but you came right back.
No, but Bree's saying you have an echo.
I have an echo?
Yes, you have an echo.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm on a landline and everything.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, Margaret. So yesterday I'm doing the show and, mired in whatever horror I was talking about. And all of a sudden I see a post from Margaret. And she said, Aaron Rodgers has retired from the NFL. And I went nuts. Yippee! I said, thank God. I said, I'm so thrilled because he's rumored to
I know.
up here.
I was just wondering about him today, so obviously that's not true, right?
Well, I've got something from her today that says, I'm so sorry for giving you wrong information. Yeah. And in fact, when I looked after the show to see, in all I could find was people speculating that he would soon end up here. But it's not known. Too good to be true. So,
Sorry.
yeah, I mean,
yeah, I was just, when I was reading early this morning, I came across something about him, but it was old, and I was going, I wonder, is he still stringing people along, or maybe they haven't asked him?
no, he's still, and people, there are teams that, yeah, there are people, I mean, the Steelers would take him. There's no doubt about it. But he's, being the diva. So, Mary says Susan does have an echo. I don't know,
Well,
Susan.
would you like me to hang up and call back?
Well, you could.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Now, hey, Mary, I just want to tell you guys about Mary a little bit. Mary is a woman of a certain age. Um, I don't know, Mary, how old you are, but you're over 55, right? And Mary, at later in life, decided to be a stand-up comedian. I thought she'd take a shot. Let me see if we get Susan back here. Susan?
Hello.
Well, you still sound okay to me, so I don't know.
Yeah, I sound okay to me too. So I did this is all I can do.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So, Susan, I was telling you about Mary, who said,
who's the stand-up comedian? Yes.
Yes, and she said that she was going to try to be a comedian. Well, that is a very gutsy thing to do if you're 20. But when you're 20, you're young and you take risks, and what the hell. But she's just told me she's 58. Okay. But anyway, so she's been out there trying, going to clubs, getting up, being a nobody at this game, and doing it. And damn, she sent me something the other day where she's featured on a advertisement for an upcoming comedy club appearance in the area. There's her picture and her name. Like everybody everybody knows Mary.
Well, she's doing the work. Good for her.
Well, she sent me a video of one set she did, and the crowd was like, she's good. But wow, that is not easy to do. That is tough. I did it once, and this was at a comedy club. I don't think it's there anymore, at Station Square, and I did it as a part of this bit I used to do where I try to do people's jobs, and I'd film me being inept, and then make a little piece about it. And my God, it was the most awful. I thought I was going to die. I, who am used to being in front of an audience and think I have the capacity to make people laugh, I had cotton mouth, I had flop sweat, I had all the things that happen that would not have happened to me if I hadn't been on a stage at a comedy club. It was unbelievable. And I bombed. I bombed. I couldn't get off. My mouth was so dry that I think the only laugh I got was when I bent down from the stage and grabbed a guy's beer off the table and took a swig because I was gonna choke to death. God. But so anyway, Mary, that's so cool to be willing to make a move like that to say, hey, it's never too late. I'm going to try this. I think it's just wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, there's two ways to think about it. One is that when you get to a certain point in your life, you just feel freer to be yourself and try new things, and you know that the worst that happens is you go home and wake up the next morning.
Yeah.
It's better to try than and live your life.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can say that.
Living long enough has to buy you something, and if that isn't, I mean, I think it's wonderful. It bought her the ability to decide to go out there and do what she wanted to do, for crying out loud.
I think it's amazing. I don't think I'd have the guts. So.
Well, I also think that for the reasons that you describe as your experience doing it, that it's one of those things that people are sort of driven to do.
Driven
To do, such that they're willing to plow through all of the scariness and unpleasantness and learning publicly-ness of their craft.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is by definition that you have to fail over and over again, especially in live comedy performance. I mean, no one just goes out there and nails it every time from the very beginning. You have to be able to withstand a lot of humiliation.
No, even when I was looking when somebody videotaped one of her sets, and I was watching. I could see some audience members, and I could see her, and a lot of the audience was laughing and it clearly listening and enjoying. And there was this one guy. Of course, I immediately light on the one guy who's just sort of sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, if I were Mary, that's the only guy in the room I'd see. That's what happens. You could have a room full of people laughing hysterically and one grump, and the grump is who I'm seeing.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, it says the more you talk, the more you echo. Just saying.
Got it.
I don't know what to do about that. Oh Lord. Wait a minute. We got a caller. We got another caller. Hang on. Hello.
It's Mary in Murraysville.
It's Mary. Hi. You're going to speak for yourself.
It's weird to listen to. It's weird to listen to the show and be a subject. Yeah.
I bet.
So you called to shut us up in self-defense.
Set you bitches straight. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
So.
Yeah, I just started because I wanted to improve my public speaking skills so that I could go to libraries and give little speeches about my books I write. And I thought, well, if I could stand up comedy, that would really help, because that would be a lot harder than talking at the library.
Well, wait a minute.
I'm both now.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. This was so you could go to a library and what?
Yeah.
And what? And
it's like desensitization, that word in pure trauma form. I get it, Mary.
Exactly. Yeah. To give an author talk at the library, it's not that much different. I mean, so I just did it so I'd be less nervous going to the library. So I will be at the Swissvale Library in June. I think you'll see me for free.
You're headlining at the Swissvale Library?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And when you do a library thing, what is it you talk about?
Yeah. Okay, I talk about the writing process, growing up, how I became a writer, different kind of writing, good advice, bad advice. But then I switch jackets, I get into show mode and come back and I do 20 minutes of stand-up.
For God's sake. Well, are you really getting into the stand-up thing now? You think you'll hit the road and stuff like that?
There will be no hitting the road. I doubt it because of my age. But there's a lot of 55 and up stuff going on. So yeah,
There is?
yeah.
I mean, what do you mean? What do you mean? There's specific stand-up venues for old folk?
Yeah, like at a VFW or a Elks Club or.
Well, they have dance clubs for that start like at 4 and are done by 10 for people our age who'd like to be in bed by 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. And then there's not another 6-foot tall woman out there, so
Yeah, you should know this. Mary is 6 feet tall and really good looking too. Yeah. So you got it all. You got it all. I mean, you got it. Go, girl.
You know how the world is. I've gone farther than I ever thought I'd go.
Yeah. So this thing that you're going to be doing is in Washington County, isn't it?
Yeah, it's at the DoubleTree that's connected to the Meadows Casino.
For God's sake, you're showing.
You got yourself into a casino, Mary?
Yes, the DoubleTree in a casino. Unbelievable. So
okay, now we're impressed.
Wait, it's not in the casino. It's just a DoubleTree connected to the casino.
Well, no, but it's in the DoubleTree connected to the casino. And
okay.
So wait a minute. So people might want to give us the date and stuff.
It's June 6th at 8 p.m. I will be doing 15 to 20 minutes of clean comedy. I cannot speak for my coworkers. I don't know what they're up to.
Oh, okay. So wait a minute. June 6th. Susan, is that the night you said that George Clooney?
No, that's my thing. The George Clooney thing is the 7th. No conflict.
Okay, so guys, we got your weekend planned. June 6th must be a Friday, right? Friday night.
Yeah.
No, it's just not.
Friday night, the DoubleTree at the...
Oh, maybe it isn't. I don't know.
Oh, well, whatever. And Saturday, CNN and George Clooney live from Broadway. Whoa.
Yeah, let me tell you who else is on the bill. Ty Mack is the headliner. That's a Friday. He's very funny. And Mike Bosco, who's local like me, is opening.
So who's the guy who's not local? I don't know him, but that doesn't mean anything.
Well, he lives here, but he works everywhere. His name is Ty Mack.
Ty Mack.
Yeah.
And does he do off-color stuff? Because you said you couldn't be assured.
Honestly, I don't know. I watched his clips on YouTube, and they were mostly about race because he's black, and they were really funny.
Okay.
And I think he knows where he's going, and he'll joke about that.
Okay. So if he's black and he does mostly race, maybe.
Yeah.
Is your comedy centered on being a 58-year-old 6-foot tall woman from the suburbs?
No, my husband won't let me joke about being old. So.
Nice.
So I joke about like going to Home Depot with your spouse.
Okay.
I have cancer. I do a bit about that.
Oh, that's
I
funny.
joke about my hometown. Yeah, I joke about my hometown, Wampum.
Oh, that's right. That's what. Yeah, she's from Wampum. That's part of the bit I saw. It's very funny. Very funny.
Yeah. For my cancer, one punchline is I'm putting a bitch in obituary. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Listen, you don't be giving us the punchlines. But really, I wish you great success. I just think it's wonderful.
Yeah, the promo code is SAVE25 if you want to order tickets. If anybody out there wants to show up.
Okay,
yeah, it costs money.
Luck.
It costs money. Was it $20 ticket, right?
Yeah. If you order early, you get I think $5 off.
Is this the most money? This is the most money you're ever going to make, right? Having done
to date, yes, it is.
I love it. I just love it. Don't go into the casino and lose it, okay? You take that money and go right home. All right.
All right. I'll
Okay.
check back. I'll let you know.
Okay. Bye.
Take care.
Oh, break a
Bye.
leg or whatever we say.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay.
Bye, Mary.
Bye.
Bye. Wow. Amazing. I think that is so cool. Okay. Now,
I just think the reason that they did it was
it's so funny. I know.
so I could talk at the library. Okay. That's like hitting your thumb with a hammer so you can stand a manicure.
Oh my God. So, Pittsburgh has this mayor's race today. The New York Times guys did a story today about our mayor's race. It's the primary, but here that's the mayor's race because the Democrat always is going to be the winner. And I already said that anyway, the headline is Pittsburgh mayor race puts spotlight on rifts in the Democratic Party. And so I don't know if that's true, trying to nationalize what's happening here, as if we went with a progressive, our first black mayor, and now back comes the white knight, the palsy-walsy friend of the establishment, to unseat him. Um, I don't know. Anyway, the article is really very much down the middle, and they do point out that under Gainey, crime has declined, even though the police department has been reduced by 20%.
Well, crime has declined nationally.
Yeah. But that's true, and it's declined here as well. And they talk about some of the mistakes he made. There was a big, badly handled police chief thing, and a lot of broken down fire trucks and ambulances, but that's the usual stuff. And I think those kinds of things are mostly inherited because cities never raise taxes anymore because you can't do that, right? And so things don't get fixed, and eventually things do crumble, right? I mean, he was mayor for 2 days or something, and that friggin' bridge collapsed.
Yeah.
That wasn't his doing. Welcome, you're the mayor of Pittsburgh, and a major bridge just went down. So anyway, it's a lot about affordable housing is a big issue, and that's the one that I'm big on. And I like the mayor's position on that better than the challenger. But I think the challenger is going to win. There's no doubt about it in my head. It doesn't matter. As I said, I voted for Mr. Rogers. Okay. Susan, have you heard of this? Does the name well, if we have trouble with names, you're not going to necessarily know the name. Adriana Smith.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That isn't what's her name's daughter, is it?
No, it's not. No,
Okay, no.
Adriana Smith is dead. She was a young woman, and she's dead. But she was a nurse.
Oh, I know who she is.
This is a woman, a young.
She's
okay.
She was what, 9 months?
Yeah,
9 weeks pregnant
okay.
or something?
No, she was 9 weeks pregnant. She was a nurse in Atlanta. She was having intense headaches, and she went to the ER, and they found blood clots in her brain, and they operated on her, and it didn't go well. And she died on the table. So the hospital informs her family, your daughter is dead, but you can't bury her. We have to keep her alive, or we have to keep her body alive. She is legally dead. So that the 9-week-old fetus has a chance to develop and grow and be delivered. And that was.
And they said pull the plug, and they said no.
No, they said we can't. Her family says this is outrageous. She has anyway. So
are they billing the family for this? By the way, I mean this is
well,
very
I don't
expensive.
know. I don't know. That can't possibly be. I don't know.
Well, and the other thing is what are the psychological effects of a child born thusly?
You tell me. Can you imagine if this child is born and does survive to have gestated in your dead mother's body? And by the way, they are seeing indications that this child in utero, and it's now 21 weeks. She died at 9 weeks. It's now 21 weeks, 11 weeks to go. And there is some indication that the baby does not appear to be quite right. Doctors, the baby has fluid in his brain, and
well,
could
a dead
have.
Woman is not a normal environment. A normal pregnant woman is walking around, is talking, is movement. This isn't normal.
No, and it does say in this article the hospital bills are growing. I mean the hospital bills are growing every day as a baby. Okay. Okay, state senator, this is in Georgia, Republican, of course, says, I think the hospital is acting appropriately. And the hospital's acting because of Georgia's anti-abortion laws, which prohibit abortion once any cardiac activity has been detected in the fetus. And that's why. Now, Georgia's law does have an exception for you can abort if in order to save the life of the mother. But that didn't apply here because she's already dead. You can't save a dead woman, but you can keep her body as a gestational device.
No, you can let a woman die.
It's
because there's a heartbeat in her, but then you can't let her die because there's a heartbeat in her.
It's beyond comprehension. It is so unbelievable. And understand that under Roe v. Wade, this would have, there's no issue here. No issue. She was well within her first trimester. And
no, it just shows you what this group of people thinks about
women.
Women.
Yeah.
They are they are not human. They are totally disposable. They are disposable when they are alive. They are just, you can disrespect and desecrate them when they're dead, and you're always right.
I think I think it was a columnist, Monica Hess, who I saw her piece on this. She was just beside herself. And she said this, her family, this woman's family, is living out a nightmare in which they watch her belly swell as their own emotions rise, and the hell they are in becomes more fraught and complicated with each passing hour. And then at 32 weeks, how are you going to get the baby out? Cesarean, I guess, because she says, I presume Smith will not be capable of pushing. And she said,
they don't have to give her anesthesia or anything.
No,
she's dead. Just cut her open and take the baby.
Cut her open and take the baby, and then give the body to her family.
And then throw her away.
Yeah. And Hess says, I feel nauseated even asking these questions, even picturing the scenario. But I hope that senator in Georgia and his Republican co-workers are required to picture it in detail. Maybe they should all be in the room. It turns out I can still be stunned and infuriated by the audacity with which some lawmakers will decide that the lives of women do not matter, by the absolutely perverse definitions of life and dignity and religion that they use to justify this grotesquerie. Yeah. Grotesquerie. So that story and the story of the Hunger Games thing were two, to me, exemplars of the cruel, outrageous nation we have become. Just unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. I mean, they just keep outdoing themselves with the cruelty. It's amazing.
Well, that's what I think she started her column by saying, I thought I was incapable of being shocked anymore. And then she got shocked. We got a caller here. Hello.
Hello. I think your point of making these dudes who think this is a good idea, be in the room and watch this happening and watch what it's doing to the family. It's sort of like, was it the mother who insists on an open casket at her?
Right. Emmett Till's mother.
Yeah, I mean, I think people, they need to get disgusted by it. And they only are disgusted if they have to watch it themselves. And it's just like every family member who is gunned down, I know it's an emotional thing, but maybe they should start having open caskets at what firearms can do too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just to say, look at what you're causing to happen. And I don't know if that will work with these bozos or not, but I'm frustrated with it. But
had you heard this?
But they just wouldn't go. I mean, that's the thing. We can say you have to go. They wouldn't. They go, no, I don't have to go.
Had you heard this story? Had you heard of this story?
No, I've been burying my head in the sand. I don't know who the hell I'm going to vote for today because I'm just not being a very good citizen right now because I'm just appalled by everything. But No, I'm learning it from you. So,
well, I don't know how much. I don't know how much traction this story is getting. I don't know. I didn't see this in any of the newspapers that I read.
I did. I saw it in the newspaper.
Okay.
Yeah, but is it a headline on Fox News?
No, and it's not. No, of course not.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem we have right now. It's like when these people are trying to rein back or talk about gun violence. They go to D.C. to march. Don't go to D.C. Go to the NRA. Go march in front of them. Create a spectacle of yourself there. I mean, what's D.C. going to do? I think
Obviously
make
nothing.
people. What's that?
Obviously nothing. D.C. has done nothing.
I did start out listening to your show, and then I got called off I'm at work, and you're talking about remembering faces.
Mm-hmm.
I'm horrible at that, and it is embarrassing. But luckily, if I have my wife with me, she remembers everything. She should work for the FBI. Lynn, I don't remember if you remember years ago when we were in the trivia games at the Irish pub in the Strip District.
Yeah.
And every once in a while they did the name these celebrities, and they showed nothing but baby faces.
Oh. And your wife?
My wife.
Wow.
Ate it. We would just hand her the category.
Wow. From baby pictures?
That's Bruce Willis. That's
my God.
George Clooney. That's and
that's amazing.
And, it is amazing.
That is
as long
amazing.
as she's with me, I'm okay. But the one thing that's happened, I don't know if you have this issue too, but I can't remember things I used to remember really well. Like, I'm a big movie buff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember my movies and actors anymore.
Yeah. Well, listen, it is age. I mean, it's there, but it's the retrieval.
If you haven't been continually retrieving the information, you've just lost the pathway. The memory's still there. You just don't know how to get to it.
You don't know where it is. It's like you just can't find it. There's too much.
Although I just want to caution you about relying on your wife, because my husband was that person for me, absolutely, totally efficient with names and faces. And so we were going to a dinner party with a bunch of his grade school friends and spouses, and I was memorizing. I was so tired of not knowing names that I just sat there and worked on it. He gave me all the names. Go to the dinner party. I'm proudly using everybody's name all night, and especially our hostess, Vicky. And then at the end of the night, someone calls her Laura or something, and I.
Jeez, oh God.
You want to hear something funny? My mom had dementia at the end of the last 10 years of life. The last 3 or 4 were really bad, and I would go visit her. You never talk about anything current, because my sister would say, "So what'd you have for breakfast, Mom?"
Right.
She goes, "I don't know." She got really annoyed at that. So I would ask her questions about the past, which she was really good at.
Yeah.
And we grew up in a small house. There was 8 or 7 children, and my parents. We only had one bathroom. And I asked my mom, I said, "Mom, how come you and Dad never put in like at least the bathroom in the basement or something like that?" And she says, "I'll tell you why, honey, because your father was cheap and lazy." And it just gave us so much to laugh about that. And I think I'm going to be that way in a couple of years.
Well, it's the other good thing about getting old is you can pretend to have lost all your inhibitions before you actually have.
I don't want to be mean, though.
No.
My mom was mean.
Yeah, people who think as you get old that's an excuse for not being nice. That's not good. Not good. Okay. But all righty.
Well,
thank
in defense of demented folks, everywhere. I mean, they do lose control of their inhibitions. They aren't being deliberately mean.
No, but I'm saying to pretend. I mean, if you're not demented.
Oh, yeah, well.
No, that's not kosher.
Okay, that's not good. Okay.
That's not kosher. All right, well,
Okay.
good luck voting.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to give it from Fred Rogers like I always do. So whatever.
Okay. Bye. Oh, dear.
Bye.
Bye. That's, I think, mostly irresponsible, sort of, but I don't know. When, I then become clearly the face of a disaffected voter, where neither candidate is what I'm looking for. It's an awful feeling, and I'm so sick of it because, I mean, it's been that way at the national level for far too many times, and whatever. It is what it is. So, all righty. Guys, I think our time is up. Susan, my God, what did we talk about today?
I don't know. We didn't even talk about poor Joe. Okay.
Well, what are you going to say? Poor Joe.
Nothing. Poor Joe. Okay.
Yeah, really. Although I did see that a lot of Republicans, including the president,
Who clearly didn't write it.
No, but he also, off the cuff remarks later, was his usual self.
Yeah.
Suggesting that it had been known and he was hiding it and blah, blah, blah. And, same doctors that told us he was in great health, right? And blah, blah, blah. So, no, you can't expect, that you're going to get anything but that. Whatever. It's a tragedy. Any way you look at it. All right, that's it. You know who else is dying of the same cancer?
Who?
Mike Adams, who draws Dilbert.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. Well, they say that he's not necessarily dying. It's a man. They can probably control it, and he's old, and he could just as easily die from something else.
Well, you're talking about Biden now.
Yeah.
No, well, I'm saying Adams is dying.
Oh, okay.
He says he'll be dead before the summer's out. Just wanted people to know. Whatever. All right, there's that. On that happy note.
And wait, end the show. Whoa.
Whatever. I'm going to go and enjoy a little bit of sunshine because I understand it is going to be disappearing for a long time.
Yeah, you're going to get gray skies.
Yeah, I know.
Although the most gorgeous sunset at 5 o'clock this morning, don't ask me why I saw it.
Sunrise.
But gorgeous, bright red sky. Like the whole northern, eastern half of the sky was bright red, just gorgeous.
Well, I'm sorry you were up, and I'm glad
Lynn
you saw.
Cullen
Oh my God!
Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.
Bye.